morning, everyone. My name is Megan Fenton, and I am your worship associate this morning. Please rise in body or spirit and join us in singing hymn number 155 in your gray hymnal, Circle Round for Freedom.
Easter. My name is Pat Krugman, and I am a member of the Board of Trustees. My pronouns are she, her, and they, them. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of the Hudson Valley. Whether you have been with this congregation a while, a decade or more, or this is your first time visiting us, we welcome you. Whatever the faith and traditions of your past, we welcome you. Whatever your theological stance, we welcome you. Whoever you are and whomever you love, we welcome you. Whatever your heritage, we welcome you. We respectfully acknowledge the territory on which our church building sits as the ancestral homelands of the Munsee, Lenape, and Wappinger people. I have a few announcements here. First of all, the board thanks Hospitality 2, led by Betsy Tomick and Jenny Silman, for coordinating the coffee hours after the Sunday services in March. We also thank Sherry Brown, the membership committee, and all the people who supplied food and drink for the potluck luncheon we had after the Sunday service 2 weeks ago, celebrating our new members. Our spring all-family game night and potluck dinner will be on Saturday, May 3rd from 5:30 to 9. We will be hosting a vegetarian-vegan potluck for this game night. Please bring your favorite vegetarian or vegan dish to share. Including a recipe is not required, but definitely encouraged. All are welcome. It is always a wonderful multi-generational night of food, fun, and games. If you've never been to one, you must come. The New York State Department of Transportation is currently finishing work on the Route 9A corridor and using the Department of Transportation lot that UUCHV uses for overflow parking as a staging area for the construction. Therefore, the lot is not available until further notice. Please park between the lines in our parking lots and respect one another's properties. Carpooling is always encouraged. Do not park in Lupicello's or the Hilltop Nursery parking lots. We don't want you to get towed. Thank you. Now, I have a special announcement. I am happy to invite Mike Kemper up for a brief announcement about building beyond community, beyond the binary. All are welcome to join our hospitality after service. Mike?
Hi, I'm Mike Kemper. My pronouns are he, him. Just want to say a few words about next Saturday's Building Beloved Community Beyond the Binary. We're going to start streaming workshops from the First Unitarian Universalist Society of Syracuse in the Sanctuary beginning around 9 o'clock. The programs we'll be watching are Trans 101 for the new, curious, and open. Let's deconstruct the binary together. Shapeshifters, exploring and affirming gender diversity through art and stories. Secondhand masculinity. And there's also a keynote address from Spencer Bergstedt, a trans man and a 30-year advocate for the LGBTQ plus community. This is an event about coming together. We're very excited to be partnering with the Community Unitarian Universalist Congregation of White Plains. They'll be supplying food and drinks and helping us serve and set up. And best of all, they'll be attending the conference and community with us. We're very grateful for their support and engagement. We also wanted to let you know that both Reverend Lane Cobb and Reverend Michael Tino will be joining us for most, if not all, of the day. They'll be lending their support and helping those in need process their thoughts and feelings. We're thrilled that they'll both be joining us. Currently, we have about 20 people signed up. Remember, you can come for one or all of the sessions, but we ask that you please sign up online so we can have an accurate head count. If you have any questions, please reach out to me after the service. Thank you. Hope to see you on Saturday.
For the most up-to-date information on our topics and others, please refer to our weekly e-newsletter and check our website frequently. And please join us for conversation after the service. If you are present in the sanctuary, please join us for coffee and conversation in Fellowship Hall. If you're watching the live stream, the link for our Zoom coffee hour can be found in the Saturday reminder in your email. If you are just recently joining us and would like to receive our weekly e-news, please email us at uucroton@gmail.com with your name, and we will make sure you are added to our e-news list. Also, please remember to silence your cell phones at this time. Once again, we welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of the Hudson Valley.
Good morning. Good morning. We are here on a day of love and hope, even in a world that can be cold and cruel. When we look outside, we see flowers that are budding. We see trees that are alive. We see reminders constantly of possibility and hope. And as we gather today in a confluence of sacred holy days and holy seasons, ancient and modern, over the last few weeks, so many people have celebrated Lent and Ramadan, Eid and Easter, Passover, and later this week, Earth Day. And today, we come on Easter Sunday or Pascha to talk about love that's stronger than death, love that is unfolding, love that is inspiring. There is a long, beautiful poem that I'll read the whole thing another time, but from Oscar Wilde about Easter Day. And in it, the first series of stanzas, Oscar Wilde's looking at these beautiful giant cathedrals and the sunlight on the domes, and he's like, is this what Easter is about? I don't know. And he kept walking, and then he said, my heart stole back across wastes of years to one who was wandering by a lonely sea and looked for a place to rest. And Wilde suggests that's what Easter is actually about. Encountering one another on a journey, recalling ancient stories of a community responding to tragedy with love and showing up in hard times. The domes are beautiful, but that's not why the holiday exists. So we gather today in the spirit of hope and possibility and rebirth. And as we do every Sunday in our congregation, we will ring the bells of our sanctuary, our 99-year-old sanctuary. And as that bell rings, it will remind us of the unfolding spring, of dedicated communities over centuries that choose love in the face of despair and hope. So I invite all the children in the sanctuary to join Jane Quidell, our Director of Religious Exploration, to ring our bells for love, for hope, and for possibility. All ages, all ages. Sound of the bell echo in our ears as we commit ourselves to love, hope, and compassion. May it be so.
Today's chalice lighting is from Gary Kowalski. With faith to face our challenges, with love that casts out fear, with hope to trust tomorrow, we accept this day as the gift it is, a reason for rejoicing. Now please join me in our unison affirmation. The words are in your order of service. Inspired by love, our mission is to seek our true nature, connect deeply and openly, and act for justice.
In our congregation, on occasion, we sing songs of praise in English and Spanish. We will hear the tune once through, and at the beginning of the second time, I invite you to join in singing English and then Spanish, our songs of praise. as Unitarian Universalists, as people of goodwill who are spiritual seekers, learning from histories and stories and poems, ancient and modern, we are inspired by all that call us to compassion, that invite us to respect wonder, and to care for this beautiful earth. One sacred teacher who has been part of the story of Unitarianism and Universalism since the beginning is Jesus of Nazareth, the child of Mary and Joseph. And today we take time to remember Jesus' story and teaching. Imagine a long time ago, in the ancient Roman Empire, a region, a country almost as large as the United States, in a small territory, there was a Jewish carpenter who lived a hard-working, precarious life. He was very faithful and spiritual. And then, at about the age of 30, he felt a calling to do something different. And he began going among the people and the villages and the cities of this small territory in this large empire. And he started to tell people wild things. The kingdom of heaven is inside of you. Love one another. Love your enemies. And these teachings unsettled people with power, traditional religious teachers. They didn't know what to do. And some in this community began to see Jesus as the Messiah, as the Savior, as the one who would liberate the people of Judea who were under the oppression and occupation of the Romans. And the political leaders of this community did not like this. Did not like people thinking there was a kingdom outside of Caesar. The only government was the Roman government. The only gods were the Roman gods. And so they captured Jesus, and Jesus was killed. But after his death, his followers still loved him. And some said they saw him, and they were challenged by his teachings to change their lives and their surroundings. And all these centuries later, people are still talking about what Jesus talked about. How we relate to one another. How we draw on those ancient teachings from the prophets of Israel to look for justice, to seek humility. Someone in our time said, if you sum up what Jesus said, it was to comfort the afflicted and to afflict the comfortable. And so it was, and so it continues.
Let us remember Jesus' teachings on salt and light. You are the salt of the earth, but if salt has lost its taste, how can its saltiness be restored? It is no longer good for anything, but is thrown out and trampled underfoot. You are the light of the world. A city built on a hill cannot be hidden. No one, after lighting a lamp, puts it under the bushel basket, but on the lampstand, and it gives light to all in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good works and give glory to your source in heaven. Or his teachings on righteousness in the Gospel of Matthew. Then the righteous will answer the anointed, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you as a stranger and invite you in, or needing clothes and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and go visit you? The anointed will reply, truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me. So do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will bring of its own worries. Today's trouble is enough for today. Please rise and body your spirit and join us in singing hymn number 118 in your gray hymnal, This Little Light of Mine. As Unitarian Universalists, we draw upon and are inspired by sacred and secular understandings to seek wisdom and practice compassion. In the spirit of spring, we share an Earth Song by Harlem Renaissance poet Langston Hughes. It's an Earth song, and I've been waiting long for an Earth song. It's a spring song, and I've been waiting long for a spring song. Strong as the shoots of a new plant, strong as the bursting of new buds, strong as the coming of the first child from its mother's womb, it's an Earth song, a body song, a spring song. I have been waiting long for this spring song. Now please join us in Body or Spirit in singing hymn number 61 in your gray hymnal, Lo, the Earth Awakens Again.
This day of spring songs and reminders that love is amazing and that love shows up even in the saddest of times, as we do almost every week, we invite the children in the congregation to join our Director of Religious Exploration, Jane Pradell, for a few special ceremonies, including, from what I understand, a variation on an egg hunt called a dog and cat food hunt. Because we're collecting for the Society to Prevent Cruelty to Animals here in Westchester. So it'll be a special connection with the life unfolding all around us. And now we sing out our children, Go Now, Please, which is hymn number 413 in your gray hymn. this Sunday that in this spirit of love being present and love showing up in hard times, our congregation is lucky and honored and blessed to be able to hear from an amazing human being, Freshta Nazari, who has just done so much in her life in the face of so much cruelty, and has, while starting a new life for herself, continued to advocate and support for her Afghani people, for Afghani refugees in the United States, and to challenge those in our time who are closing doors of welcome. It is a great honor to introduce Ginny Stillman, who knows Freshta very well, who will then introduce Freshta.
Good morning. Good morning. Terry Lucan and I are here to ask for your support for Open Arms for Refugees, whose mission is to welcome and integrate federally sponsored refugees into our community. In the last 3 years, Open Arms has helped 58 new neighbors settle here. Open Arms is now trying to help 15 Afghans who have been fully vetted for resettlement and were awaiting entry into the U.S. before the Trump administration imposed a travel ban affecting 11 countries, including our Afghan allies. Today, Open Arms is asking over 20 houses of worship to make in the Croton, Ossining, Briarcliff area to make a unified effort to support the campaign Save Our Afghan Allies, to help these 15 fully vetted Afghans and others living here who now face fear and intimidation from our government. In your order of service, if you take it out, you will see an alarming notice of termination of parole letter from Homeland Security that was sent to many parolees to create fear and intimidation. We urge you to tell the President and Secretary of State Rubio to honor our moral obligation by using Facebook or Instagram, making phone calls, or sending an email. Please also, if you have the time on this coming Wednesday in Ossining, join Open Arms for Refugees at Market Square, where they will be launching their response to the hurtful and misleading DHS deport letter that you'll see in your insert. This is a nonpartisan press conference where advocates and local faith leaders from BOMA, that's the Briarcliff Ossining Ministerial Association, of which we're a part, will express their outrage over the hurtful moral wrong done by the DHS letter. All are welcome to attend. See me after service if you wish to attend and speak out. UUCHV, our church here, will be sharing the plate for the month of May to support the humanitarian mission of Open Arms for Refugees. Please check out their website or Facebook page to learn how you can become a volunteer. And now I'd like to introduce to you a remarkable young woman, my friend, Freshta Nazari. Freshta was a lawyer and women's rights advocate in Afghanistan who feared Taliban reprisals. In August 2021, a U.S. Marine reached down into the crowds of people and lifted her over the Abbey Gate Wall of Kabul airport, just hours before a suicide bomber killed 183. After 6 months at Fort Dixon, New Jersey, she was resettled to Ossining with the help and support of Open Arms for Refugees. I had the great pleasure of teaching her English remotely while she was at Fort Dix and in person once she arrived in Westchester. She continued her studies at WCC, where she advanced from a level 0, she had like no English when she got here, to a level 6 in less than 2 years. Terry assisted with securing medical and dental care and helping with health concerns and issues. Freshta currently works as a court analyst for Westchester County, has obtained asylum status with the help of Neighbors Link Legal Services. And her parents recently were able to come to live with her here in her own apartment in the United States. Freshta helped create the Westchester Welcome Program, which helps other Afghans start to rebuild their lives. And just last week, received the 2025 Resiliency Award for volunteers by Volunteer New York in Westchester before an audience of 600 people. We welcome Freshta and her parents to our service today.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Jenny, for that kind introduction and for your Unitarian Universalist Church support of Open Arms for Refugees. In September 2021, I was flown to America. I did not speak English. I did not know how I would find a house and feed myself. Today, I have a good job, an apartment, and friends and colleagues whom I trust and hold dear. I owe my new life to the kindness of strangers, especially to the Open Arms volunteers who welcomed me, who taught me English and how to live in America. To Karen and Jay at Neighbors Lane, who helped me get asylum and bring my parents to safety in America last September. To many supportive volunteers and specials, thank you to Dr. Betty Campbell for patiently helping me learn to process at the courts. I owe you all so much. Last week, I received an award from the New York Volunteers Organization in Westchester for my work as a volunteer. Let me tell you why volunteering is important to me. Open Arms helped me in a way that all of you here will understand. Helped me to create the Westchester Welcome Program to help new arrivals, and it gave my life new purpose and focus beyond myself. Giving back helped me find my own strength. Working with Neighbors for Refugees, Open Arms for Refugees, and a New York State program, we helped 16 Afghan families in the New York shelter system start their new lives. And now, we and Open Arms, 20 supporting houses of worship are asking Washington to let 15 America's Afghan allies already waiting to travel, be able to come to the U.S. as refugees. There is another joy of volunteering. For me, the wonderful caring volunteers from Open Arms have become trusted and dearest friends. They are my Open Arms family. I would like to close with a thought about volunteering. A meaningful life is not measured by personal achievements alone, but by the impact we have on others. Every day we are giving countless opportunities, both big and small, to make a difference in the world around us, whether through a simple act of kindness, a moment of understanding, or a lifetime of service. We each hold the power to create ripples of change that extend far beyond what we can see. In that spirit, I want to thank all of you for that you do in service to others. It does make a difference. Thank you so much, everyone.
Love unfolds in times ancient and right now. In our congregation, we have a tradition of sharing joys and sorrows. We think about our weeks, our days, and what we want to lift up, to remember, to recall. And at certain times of the year, we offer variation on that ritual. In this April, this spring, we've been offering bells of memory and remembrance. So as we are in a season of new life, as we think about the rainbows of kindness that can accompany us in our days, we take a moment to recall those important and who are part of our journeys. Those who, whether or not physically present, are very much among us. Our parents, our children, friends, loved ones, the beloved dead. All that great cloud of witnesses who gather together, who helped us come to this moment in time. In a moment, I will ring a bell 3 times to recall those on our journey in the past, present, and unknown yet in the future. Then you are invited to either speak aloud the name of someone who you are holding close on your heart, or raise your hand. After each name is spoken, I will ring a bell and we will light a candle. After each hand is raised, I will ring a bell and we will light a candle in honor of those who have accompanied us on our journey, who have offered love, and who we are holding in our hearts.
Joe.
Eddie.
Mary.
Eddie.
Jamie.
Miriam.
Brian.
Hector.
Barbara.
I ring this bell 3 times for all of those we are holding in the silent sanctuaries of our hearts. As we gather in this sanctuary of memory, hope, and love, recalling all those present, physically or otherwise, let us have a moment of silence to honor the unfolding moments of care around us. centering words for our prayer come to us from a member of this congregation from times past, Benjamin Brighton, who wrote a poem called Season's Greetings, which he purposely designed, I think, to work across the year. But Carl told me about Benjamin, and Carl told me that Benjamin wasn't like other people. He was someone that always thought about tomorrow, that was interested in what could be. We gather and celebrate again this season. A year of work there is in place. Efforts made are almost buildings now. Let's celebrate. We've constructed and instructed people like us to build those vast skyscrapers and the hospital spaces, the fireplaces and homes and kitchens, hopeful places. We celebrate a season having worked and lived our way to here. We cared for them and care now. We give our struggled best work and skill and knowledge that helps the buildings rise, and the walls will stand, and the sound is right, and the floor is stable, and the color clean, and the hardware able. The light is lean and varied. We are part of the goal for which we work. Our doing, thinking, molding makes the places for warm spaces. We gather. We celebrate. We build for next season. Would you join me in a moment of meditation, prayer, pause. Spirit of life and love, bigger than the universe, smaller than a grain of sand, help us to be present to the rainbows we carry within us and that we can give to others. Help us be present to the choices for love that each day presents. Help us to make amends when we fall short. Help us to always be in awe. And help us to be kind and caring in our grief. May we do our best to show up, even on the hard days. May it be so. This is a complicated time. And on complicated times, I sometimes go for a walk because it helps clear my mind. Now I go for a walk with my son, which also helps clear my mind. He's 1 year old, and everything is awesome to him. Everything. Looking at a tree branch is awesome. It might be only like the 100th time he's seen a tree branch. And having these interactions has almost become a spiritual practice of going out with my son, trying to just be present to him and to what is around us. And it's made me very cognizant of how often I was not present prior to his birth in what I thought were my meditative walks. There are things I see now I didn't see at all. I see the buds on trees in deep veracity. I see turtles coming out of ponds. I see all this life around us. And I think what Oscar Wilde was talking about on that Easter Day poem, when he was talking about a lonely soul walking along the river, he was talking about the fact that these stories that are so sacred in the Easter tradition, in the Pascha tradition, they're about people in community trying to make sense of what to do in a tumultuous, tempestuous, divided time. Ancient Judea was a colonized territory. Jesus lived barely a century after the Romans first conquered Israel. Jesus died barely 30 years before the Romans destroyed the Israeli temple and forced the Jewish people into a centuries-long exile. Jesus lived in communities that were consciously aware of the precariousness of life, that were divided amongst different factions. You can read scholarly books by people from Elaine Pagel to Dominic Crossman to Miguel de la Torre, on and on and on, talking about the cauldron which these Jews in the first century of the Roman Empire found themselves. And different people had different solutions to the chaos. Some said, I think we should just get along with the Romans. I think we should support the Romans. I think we should make modifications to our traditions. Rome is great. Let's try to make some money. Let's just line up with power. And then others were like, we need to hold on to our traditions. We need to protect our dignity. We'll do the minimum interaction with this corrupt state, but we're going to really focus on the life and rituals and stories of our people. And then others thought that any participation in the Roman society was corrupting, and they went out into the desert and they lived in communes and they did mystical meditation. They cared for travelers who would come and go, but they really purposely tried to live on the outskirts of the power centers. And then there were others who said, we are the descendants of the Maccabees. We resisted the Greek kings. We can overthrow the Romans. This story isn't done. And they were called zealots. And they worked for violent sabotage and overthrow to try to free their people. And many people in this community were somewhere in between, and on a given day might have a feeling one way or the other, and trying to make sense of how to interact as an occupied people. And that's the thing that folks like James Cone, a theologian at Union Theological Seminary, said, that Howard Thurman said, that so many said, that the key remembrance of Jesus is that Jesus was a Jew. He was not a Roman citizen. He was someone whose whole life, whose people's whole life was shaped by precariousness and in relationship to occupation, which makes these teachings all the more disorienting and radical. In that environment, this carpenter is going around saying, you are the salt of the earth. You are the light of the world. Don't hide your light. Let it shine. The kingdom of heaven is inside of you. And all of the different factions at the time were disoriented by these teachings because they were all somewhat threatened by this unstable character who was walking around, going from village to village, getting more people following him, and then deciding during Passover, the High Holy Day, to come to Jerusalem, the capital city. The Romans didn't like this. Romans were fearful. And yet Jesus said, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, according to tradition. After his death, just like today, people were trying to figure out how to respond. Some in the community said they saw Jesus, that Jesus was still here, present. Others said maybe Jesus is a spirit. Others said Jesus is dead. And in this debate, different types of ancient communities formed. The Orthodox Christian churches, the majority churches with bishops, tended to have set scriptures and authorize, these are the correct teachings, the books that we must honor. Other forms of communities gathered and said, there are many ways to think about this moment. And we're going to listen to different stories and teachings. But they were all in that cauldron of the 1st and 2nd century, trying to live lives of dignity in a time of political upheaval. And what was noteworthy to the Romans, of all of these variants of the early Jesus followers, was a constant commitment to charity, which was countercultural. In fact, one of the Roman emperors ordered the pagan temples to begin to do works of charity because they saw more people were attracted to this growing movement. As Unitarian Universalists, we say that love shows up all over the place in multiple stories and traditions, and I believe that in my heart. And as we gather today in a tumultuous time, in a time of occupation, in a time when countries around the world seem to be arming, where different leaders are trying to determine what is the way to organize power, it's not that different from ancient times. The old Romans talked about the Pax Romana, the great peace of the Roman Empire, the stability that will last centuries, until it decayed, and at tremendous cost. And I know in our time many people talk about renewal, golden ages, and hope all over the world. And I think about Oscar Wilde looking at a dome in the 19th century and looking at these processions and looking at all the ritual, which I love, but he's saying, this isn't it. This story is about a carpenter by the river going place to place because he loved his people and thought there's a different way to be alive, where we don't have to be so afraid, where even if they occupy us, we know we have dignity in our hearts, and we're not going to change. And for teaching that, he was killed. But that's not the end of the story, because people responded after his death with love and trying to recreate something. The perpetual temptation in religious life is to think we know the full story. And if anything, the history of Jesus' followers over centuries has shown people often hear this story of an oppressed people and then use it to oppress other people, which is a profound and grotesque paradox. But that means that the story always is speaking to the present, just like the ancient prophets Micah and Isaiah are always speaking out against those who worship power and money and empire and gold, because that's all temporary. I think about what Freshta said about the importance of the moment and the kindness and the ripples of the moment. And when you're present on a spring song, when you're present as the flowers are blooming, when you're present with people who are aching and hurting, you always have a choice. And I've always regretted when I don't respond with love. I've never regretted when I've responded with love. I view this holiday as a reminder to encounter this carpenter on the river and spend time looking at the old words, thinking about what on earth it means to love your neighbor as yourself. And if that was true, which is from the book of Leviticus, he said everything is in the law and the prophets. If that's true, how would the world be different? And how can we cultivate a space where love, respect, and dignity is honored? So let's honor the spring. Let's encounter one another. And let's seek love, build love, organize for love. Even if the empire is falling apart, love is real. May it be so.
Each week, we make an offering from the bounty we are blessed to enjoy. We do this in the spirit of love and generosity, aware that we have benefited from those who have gone before, those that in their turn gave generously. Our offering goes to support the work of love and justice undertaken by this community. Today's offering will also be shared with the SPCA of Westchester, a no-kill 501c3 not-for-profit animal welfare organization dedicated to saving homeless, abused, and abandoned animals. Visit the website spcawestchester.org. You can make your donation in several ways. If present in the sanctuary, you may give cash or check in the offering plate as it comes by. From your homes, you can make your donation via credit card or PayPal using the links provided in the e-newsletter, or by visiting our website, uuchudsonvalley.org. Or if you prefer, you may always mail us a check. The offering will now be given and gratefully received. Please join me in the dedication of the offering. The words are in your order of service. May these gifts and the work of our hands and hearts give power to all we stand for as a community of faith. Now please rise in body or spirit and join us in singing our final hymn, number 131, Love Will Guide Us in Your Great. Please join me in extinguishing the chalice. The words are in your order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
As we gather today, know that love is inside of you, that love is part of you, that love is a choice to live. And may we journey with love as we encounter one another in this wide unfolding world, today and every day. May it be so.
Oh, you're welcome. It's a pleasure. Yes, thank you. Enjoy your congregation. Thank you. You're welcome. Pleasure.